Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Yes.
Mr. Blau?
Okay, item number 5, which we received a request for deferment, was submitted on November 9, 2022. Is discussion and possible action to approve/deny a zoning change from R2 Rural Residential District to a planned unit development, PUD 2022-03. Eric?
At this point in time, they're just asking for deferment. Like stated, you'd received the letter that I sent you asking for such a request. They are here if you have any questions, but at this time, they're just asking for deferment.
Sure. Can we have the person asking for the deferment? If you wouldn't state your name and address, please.
Tony Blatt, ADG Blatt Architects, 920 West Main, Oklahoma City.
Hey, and you are requesting a deferment,
Yes.
and because of,
We're working out some of the utility issues.
okay. And when would we anticipate that to be worked out by?
We're trying to have it to be able to present to you next month.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. We're going to move forward, and at the end of this, we will possibly make the motion to receive your deferment.
Very good. Thank you.
Is there anybody here who would like to speak in favor of this? Is there anybody here who would like to speak against this? Hearing none. Eric, what's the county's opinion?
We have no issue with the deferment.
With that said, I will take a motion to approve or deny the deferment request.
I move to approve the deferment
I'll second.
Roll.
till next month, yeah.
Right, till the December 17th.
Till December 17th. Can you update the motion, please?
I move to accept the deferment until the next meeting of the planning commission. Is that good enough for December 17th?
17th. Right.
December 17th.
Oh,
I
15th.
thought it was 15th. That's why it was.
15th. I'm sorry, 15th.
All right. So I move to defer until December 15th.
I will second.
Roll call, Eric?
Ms. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Yes.
Mr. Blau?
So request for deferment has been approved. Okay, item number 6, discussion and possible action to approve/deny the preliminary plat of Rush Creek PP 2022-07. Eric, county report?
Yes, so I don't know if you recall this project, but this was something as far as general plat was in front of you a few months ago. They're wanting to move forward with a section of this. So this is going to be the east half. There were some engineering issues that we got with the engineer on, and those have been corrected. So in regards to moving forward, they've done everything that we've asked. And so what you see is what they're going to move forward with as far as this particular section of the subdivision.
Any questions for Eric? Is there someone here to talk in behalf of this project? You would state your name and address, please?
Yeah, it's Clint Morris, Civil and Environmental Consultants, 4045 Northwest 64th Street. We just would like to be able to move forward and begin construction. I believe everything's been addressed. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Stacy, we're all good?
Yes, the applicant meets the requirements.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Anybody here to talk against item number 6? Sir? If you would state your name and address, please.
Bill Nedbarlick, 6330 Starlight Terrace in Piedmont, Oklahoma. And it's not an objection, just a question. What's the issue on the water? Have they solved their water supply issue?
Not sure, but we can ask and find out. Do you have any other questions?
That was it, just the water.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Deer Creek Water is going to be supplying water to this. Sorry.
just was waiting for him to sit down so he heard what you. Okay. So Deer Creek Water has approved.
They have not approved yet, but they have a will serve letter.
Okay.
We are working on construction plans for this development with Deer Creek, and we will have those addressed. There's nothing that should hold up supplying water to the development.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else to talk in against? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve or deny item number 6.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Mr. Blau.
Item number 6 is approved. Okay, item number 7, to discussion and possible action to approve/deny the preliminary plat of Council Crossing PP 2022-06. County report?
So yes, this was before you here a couple of months ago, and there was an issue with some oil equipment that was out there. So at the time, you had denied the plat, and so they resubmitted. They combined. What you'll see there is Lot 13 used to be Lot 13 and 14, and so they've combined that in this iteration. But with that said, there was some discussion just keeping the plat it was the way it was originally with all those lots instead of combining Lot 13 and 14 together. And so that's what they're here to discuss today. We didn't have any other issues in regards to engineering that was submitted. So all that's been worked through, but there's still some discussion in regards to the lots themselves.
In our packet, we have a second slide that has a green and brown circle. Could you tell us what that is?
Right, so that's just in regards to the oil equipment that we have that's out there. Essentially, those circles represent the 300 feet that we require in regards to residential structures. You can't construct a residential structure within 300 feet of any oil equipment.
And if this was approved, is there any notation that would go on the submitted plot map that would let people know that they could not build on a certain?
Yeah, I mean, there's no issue with adding any language in that regards. And I think that's what the applicant is here to discuss that as well. But there's no problem letting people know that that 300-foot requirement is in place. And if that equipment disappears and it's no longer active, that requirement would be removed to where they can be closer than what's shown in that picture there.
Sure.
Because I don't see how anybody could build on lot 6. There just wouldn't be room for a house.
Well, it's just the relation, the green in our drawing at least is where the pump jack is. And then the red circle is in relation to the storage tanks, which is further to the east. That's what those represent. And those are just an idea. I think they have a more accurate picture than, that's just as quick reference.
Any other questions for Eric? Is there someone here to talk in favor of this project?
Good afternoon, David Box, 522 Colcord Drive. Here on behalf of the applicant, also with me is Mark Zitzow. So Mr. Zitzow and I were not here the last time this was heard by the commission, but our understanding was there were concerns about subsequent owners of property knowing that these limitations existed. This is an exhibit similar to what the staff has, but I think it's slightly more refined in terms of the specific measurements. So the blue represents the area around the pump jack. The red represents the area around the tank batteries. So there are areas within several lots that would prevent someone from building within these areas. Notably, lots 6 and 7 and 10 are significant. And so one of the questions that we asked ourselves is, how could we have something that would run with the land that would ensure any subsequent owner of any of these lots to know? So the way that we believe we can do that is through a plat note. The plat note would show up on a title report. Plat note gets recorded against the property at the county, so it runs with the land and would be burdened on the land for all owners of property from now until such time that the plat note went away. What we would have proposed is to say lots 1 through 7 and 10 through 14 of this plat are currently encumbered by oil and gas related surface facilities that could impact the buildable area within each lot. At such time that said oil and gas related surface facilities are removed, this plat note is no longer applicable to those lots. So that would ensure that a title report would pick that up, the owners of the property, it would be on the face of the plat right here. So anyone would know that these lots are impacted, and the severity of each lot is a little different, right? You can still, within lot 1, it's impacted, but there's still plenty of room. Same with 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 are the most impacted. But that note gets us to where the public and all future buyers are on notice.
You said that note, would be.
So yeah, that's old. We have 14 lots shown here within this section, right? And so what we're talking about is lots 1 through 7, and then 10 through 14. 8 and 9 are not encumbered by that.
Yeah.
It was on one of the things they emailed us. It's right here.
Okay.
So on this thing, what they did was 13 is now twice as wide. So 13 used to be on the right half and 14 used to be the left half.
Right, what was submitted to us originally is what you see, but like I said, there was been discussion about, so essentially that lot 13 is 4 acres. When you split it, it becomes 13, 14, where they're all 2 acres apiece essentially. So that was what was submitted when we got the application. Like I said, there's been some discussion in regards to what we're talking about now.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So it's limited to obviously the area in which they're leasing. I guess we could add the word permanently removed to your point, if they removed it for a day and rebuilt. Yeah. I think if we added the word permanently before removed, it gets us there. So this is a common thing that exists in lots of neighborhoods around the state of Oklahoma. In fact, oftentimes they're within much more dense neighborhoods, and they're fenced off. And at some point, that these wells run dry, they are required. They, being the oil and gas operators, are required to come in and remove their facilities and turn the earth back to what it should be. So developers kind of deal with this all the time, understanding that it could be a year, it could be 50 years, but it happens all over the place.
Yeah, but you say permanently removed.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, we can certainly craft language that I think gets us there. I mean, undoubtedly, when that runs dry, their lease rights terminate. The
Right, but it's not to say that it's not producing, but they decide to move on.
yeah, that's why I think if we say permanently removed, that gets us there. So I guess I'd ask staff from a permitting standpoint what they would look at in order to issue a building permit at at whatever time.
So we base the permits off, what's currently out there. So if we can go back and research something that points to that lease is no longer in place, then we'll do that. But typically, it's just based on the activity that exists on the property at the time.
So if I understand correctly, then what you're concerned about is they still have the lease, they've pulled the equipment off, maybe they're gonna replace the storage tanks or something, but the lease is still in place, then somebody says, it's gone, I can build a house. They build the house, and now the storage tanks come back. So what if we added language more like, you can't build a home there or what have you until the lease is ended and the equipment is gone? Would that be sufficient?
What if we said the well is capped?
Can you build a house if the well is capped?
Yes, I mean yes. Wells get capped all the time, and what was formerly the oil and gas site becomes a home site.
Okay, so let's walk through this. Right now, the equipment's there. I can't build a house on lot 6. Okay,
Yes, sir.
the equipment goes away. The county looks at it. They actually give a permit. Person builds a house. 5 years later, suddenly there's oil under there again. They come back. They can put the pump back in, but we don't tear the house down. We don't tell people they have to move. They just now live in a house that has a pump jack in their backyard.
No, there's spacing requirements under the Corporation Commission rules that wouldn't allow them to do that. So if they walk away from the site,
Right.
cap that well, they're acknowledging that they're done here and understanding the risk, because they don't own the surface, right?
Right.
So the surface owner has the right to go make use of that surface. And if they wanted to come back later, well, they'd have to figure out a way to negotiate within the Corporation Commission rules spacing.
Gotcha.
I mean, what you're asking is a great question, and it really points to they being the oil and gas company, don't get to legally hold hostage the surface forever. They own the mineral rights and then the necessary things on top. But if they are done, they don't get to be the dominant estate at that point.
My problem is if they're really not done, they still have an active lease, they're still not done. So can you not move battery tanks?
Well, but if they cap it. If they cap it and they're done, they have to clear that site.
Okay, cap and done is the operative.
So we could say at such time that said oil and gas related surface facilities are permanently removed and capped.
And remediate, they need to move.
Sure. Well, removed is already in there. So, second sentence would read, at such time that said oil and gas related surface facilities are permanently removed and capped, this plat note is no longer applicable to these lots.
That's good. Any other questions, Gretchen? Good. Is there anybody else here who'd like to talk in favor of this project? Hearing none, is there anybody here who would like to talk against this project?
I have a question on it.
Hold on a second. Come on up and then state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Paul Terlecki. I live at 2255 Bordeaux Way. We have the same issue around our community. Has the developer offered to buy out the lease? Is the well producing? How much longer can it go for? Can they go back in and redevelop the well? There's a lot of little details in there that are just a huge question. And I think a little clarity would help you guys. Even, I know you're trying to figure out the language, but a clarity on what the leaseholder's doing with the site. The site may not be active right now, but they can come back 4 years from now and redevelop the well and start pumping again.
Well, as I understand it, right now, it actually is in use, which is why those particular
Okay.
lots would not be sellable. Well, I guess they could sell anything, but they can't be built
Yeah.
upon.
And then you're trying to figure out the language on that, and I was just curious on this, say, hey, what's to stop the leaseholder from coming back and saying, hey, we own rights to this area, and you guys built everything all around it, and we want to come back in here, so somebody comes and buys this lot, builds a house, just like Gretchen was asking, and says, huh, what happened?
Well, and apparently if they cap it, then the Corporation Commission thereafter becomes involved. Is that what I'm understanding? Is that what you guys understood?
Right, and if we understood it correctly, once it's capped, then they can't come just and reopen shop. They have to go back through the Corporation Commission, and then there's all, which has nothing to do with us, but then they would discuss that through them.
They don't get capped though. They just sit there with a pump jack on them. And
And as long as that's there, nobody can build the home.
so, okay. So I didn't know if the pump jack was there or not.
It is.
Okay, and then is the leaseholder handling the remediation?
At some point,
At
they're
some point?
required by law.
That's their requirement.
So how does that play into this plat or the plat that he had with somebody buying the lot?
That would be a great question for you to call Eric on Monday,
Okay,
and Eric would love to talk to you about that.
all right.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to either approve or deny item number 7.
Hold on a second. Before I will move that, but Gretchen has said in the past that when we do that, if we're going to have amending language or whatever, then we have to have that language read in, and I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
So if
I
you
will hand it to you, but since I added 2 words, you won't be able to read my handwriting. Okay, so here's the plat now. Lots 1 through 7 and 10 through 14 of this plat.
hold on, if you can't hand it to me, I'm gonna have to write it down because I
How
have to read
about,
it.
how about I
I will.
suggest this? How about Mr. Box reads the language and then provides a copy of that to Marquita?
Is that okay, Gretchen? Okay, I'm just making sure I'm doing what she wants. Okay, go ahead.
Lots 1 through 7 and 10 through 14 of this plat are currently encumbered by oil and gas-related surface facilities that could impact the buildable area within each lot. At such time that said oil and gas-related surface facilities are permanently removed and capped, this plat note is no longer applicable to these lots.
Okay, so I move to approve, subject to that language being on the plat notes.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss.
Yes.
Mr. Blau.
Yes.
Item number 7 is approved. Item number 8. Discussion and possible action to approve/deny a zoning change from R2 Rural Residential District to a Planned Unit Development PUD 2022-04. County report.
Yes, so you had received a copy of the PUD statement in regards to the information that was sent out. So you'll see there that this project was brought to you before. Essentially what's changed this time from the previous application is the commercial portion of that has been removed. The only thing that remains is the residential portion, which you see in front of you. If you have the staff report, there were some concerns that we had in regards to the regulations. I made Mr. Blatt aware of those concerns via email, but what you see is what they're proposing at this time.
Questions for Eric? Okay. Is there someone here to talk in favor? Yep.
Just before that, now you guys had not received any letters of protest time. We hadn't had any at that point.
You sent us 2.
Okay, you had 2. Okay. So I do have quite a bit of protest letters that I'd like to hand to you now. That way you can kind of review those before everybody comes up.
I move to receive the letters.
Eric, can you do a roll call on the motion to receive the letters, please?
Yes, Ms. Patterson, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Mr. Blau.
Yes.
Somebody asked you how many letters you had. Oh, he's counting now.
$12, and that map there represents those. So the red squares are Oklahoma County, and then on the north side, the red X's are the X's that you see up top are the ones that protested in Logan County.
I'll provide some of you though. What? That's okay. You'll have opportunities to speak when given so? Okay. Eric, anything else?
Yes, Mr. Terlecki is part of he's along Bordeaux Way.
Okay. Okay.
No, unless you had specific questions in regards to the PUD statement. Like I said, if you look towards the last page of the staff report, that's our concerns. One of the concerns is open space. We have a requirement of 15% open space. Like I said, I made Mr. Blatt aware of that. So if you go back to the previous slide, I think that common area that's there currently does not meet that requirement. Essentially, you have 10 acres there, so 15% of that's going to be 1.5 acres.
Okay. Sir, anybody here would like to talk in favor of this project? Again, state your name and address, please.
Tony Blatt, 920 West Main, Oklahoma City. I did receive the email. My understanding was after everything, all the documents had gone out, so I did not try to create another document in between that time period, but I do understand the issue on the 1.5 acres, the 15%. And I did create a document that I can share with you, but I don't know if it's appropriate for me to hand something out in this particular meeting.
Do we have a motion to receive that document?
I so move.
Do I have a second?
He wants to give us another document.
Eric, can we get a roll call to receive the document, please?
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Mr. Blau.
Yes.
Thank you.
Spoke with the owner and he acknowledged that he understands we need a 15% in open area. And so we created a document. We're willing to comply with 15%. That's not an issue. The intent is that we create 11 half-acre plus size lots, no commercial, where we have a letter from Deer Creek that they're going to provide water. It's the same letter that they provided the last time, but it was within the 6-month window, so we were using that letter again. We will provide sidewalks if it's the desire of the commission, and willing to entertain or listen to or respond to any comments you may have.
Jason?
The one comment I have is your local road through there looks to be 30 feet wide. You're gonna have probably about double that, especially if you're gonna do sidewalks.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yes. I believe the lots run to the center of the roads as far as your calculation on the lot size, but you're gonna have to have a 60-foot right of way through there to get all your road and drainage and so forth in there.
We'll accommodate that.
So according to my calculator here, 1.5 acres is actually 65,000 square feet, not 42.
We have the 9315 on the lower portion,
Oh, I see. I didn't
but
see it.
if we need it, we will comply with 1.5 acres.
Any other questions? Thank you. Is there anybody else here who would like to talk in favor of this? Hearing none, is there anyone here who would like to talk against this? If we could get you to come up one at a time, state your name and address, please.
Yes, Cordell Eric, 20701 Northwest MacArthur Boulevard. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for Deer Creek Public Schools, and we would just like to say that some of our struggles with this would be that it's not in the 2-acre expectation for the county. Also, when we looked at changing from rural to higher density. That does cause issues with infrastructure, and then also just our ability to keep up with the growth that we're already experiencing within our school district is a challenge. So I'd like to ask the commission to deny the request. Thank you.
Hold on. Any questions? Thank you. Next. State your name and address, please.
Hey there, it's Paul Trilecki, 2255 Bordeaux Way. So I believe there was about 20 protests that I had faxed over to the county office. Nobody around us really wants a high-density housing development or anything that could potentially turn into commercial in the future. If they're already having problems with road sizes and all of that, why isn't there a plat submitted with the planning department and saying, hey, we're going to fix this, we're going to do this, we're going to change this, and this is what we're actually going to do. The Deer Creek Water letter, I guess it's a letter of intent that is with the packet. I don't know, or it's from their engineer. Why was it submitted to the planning department after the plat was already submitted? So what I'm a little confused on. So they're saying, oh, the commercial's not in there, but it's in there, and we can take that off or we can put that on. But that was submitted. The date on that document is after the original plat. And I've talked to a lot of people around us. They're not really happy or thrilled with the idea of putting in high density housing. They're complaining about the schools. They don't want to have their schools overcrowded. We can already change between school districts as under my impression is you can try to get your kids to go to Deer Creek schools if you live nearby. And it's already tight. And Deer Creek schools here, they don't agree. It just doesn't fit. It's like putting high rise in between the middle of the golf course in Nichols Hills. It just, why that? Why there? Who is it going to benefit? And it's not going to benefit us. It's not really going to benefit the county too much in tax revenue because they're just going to be small houses. You can't build them that big. And on a side note on taxes, so I called the treasurer on this lot. And the last time we sat here when this was proposed before, they said they wanted to do good for the community. And I called the treasurer verified taxes haven't been paid on the lot. They're past due. And I thought that was a little interesting that somebody wants to develop a lot, say that it's going to benefit our community, yet they can't pay their taxes and, goes to fund our schools and roads and you name it. So that seems disingenuous to me. The people on the other side of Waterloo, they may not be residents of the county, but they're following the rules of their county. And so they can do those smaller lots up there. And down here, everybody's followed the rules up to a point, 2 acre, 2 acre, 2 acre. And that's the smallest it get. Why are we going to go down to, what's one of them as small as 12,000 square feet on one of those lots? So.
Questions? Thank you, sir. Next. Again, if you could state your name and address, please.
Yeah, Greg Nelson, 4900 Waterloo Road. As you can tell over here, you can see 2 acre lots. We are not against development, my wife and I. All we ask is that you would consider, 2 acres on that 10. This is definitely, we are west side on that big red spot there. We moved out there close to 2 years ago, bought it to get away from rural areas. We came from the middle of Edmond and just wanted privacy. And so we found that place. And now You know, the only thing that changed on this development plan is they've removed the commercial. They're going to propose that, what, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? Let's talk about the sewer system that they're going to put in. What are they going to put in? Aerobic systems. If you all smelt aerobic systems, there's a reason why we put 2 acres out here for is when you're sprinkling sewer system across your land, it gets smelly. And so I've been in neighborhoods with just 1.5 acres, 2 acres, and it still isn't pleasant. You get this going, and this is going to be a holy nightmare for people, especially our land, which is right next to it west of it. Let's talk about the water runoff. There are 2 natural water runoffs that come right across the Captain land, right here. One comes across ours, and one comes across here. They have this little area. What are they going to do? Run the water off here, and it's going back in here, and then come across our land and flood it? It's already, when it rains hard, we get flooded out there. The ditches that are out there that run down Waterloo, where are they putting this water if they, you know, again, there's so much that we would ask you guys, please don't allow this to happen to the rural area that we live in. Again, we are not against building. I understand that, but 2 acres is what we would propose if you guys are going to allow anything to be built on here. But again, I would like to know where that, you know, I don't know much about planning, how to look at a set of plans, where they're planning on putting out water that naturally goes across that 10 acres as it is. Again, there's 2 spots. There's only one tin horn that goes across Waterloo into Susan Peacock's land across from ours. And it barely, and I mean it, word barely, handles it. When it rains, that water is literally going across the top of that road. So where they're planning on sticking this water, but again, let's talk about, you know, they said Deer Creek's bringing water in. I think that's a bunch of crap. That water's what, 2 miles down the road? They're going to put the money in to have the infrastructure put in for that water. You know, again, if you're bringing water, sewer, all right, you know, I can see at that point, here comes the communities. All right. But right now with the aerobic systems that they're putting in, and then they're going to be tapping our wells that are underneath our land already, I just would hope that you guys would reconsider or just considering just denying it and forcing them, you know, to consider putting 5 homes out there. Again, I don't want to say stop it completely. That's not right of us. But to be considerate, I would appreciate you guys saying no.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Ma'am? You would state your name and address, please.
Kathy McKenzie. I'm at 4374 West Waterloo, 4700 West Waterloo, and I own that piece of land south of, it's not in red. And answer his question where all that water is going to go, it goes in my front yard. We had to have a new culvert put in that was 3 times the size to handle what we're getting now. Further east of us, someone has blocked off that water ditch, drainage ditch that goes through, and I've contacted, nothing's been done. So when we get a rain, it probably comes up 12 feet to our driveway, which is washed out that we've had to do. We also have a culvert coming from Logan County at our 4700 property that's huge, and we also get all their water. The water board, when we talked to them, was amazed at how much water comes down Waterloo and all, and now they're telling me I have to put another culvert in on our other property because it can't handle the water. And then south of it, where those 4 lots are, it's a marsh all the time. If we get any rain, it's a marsh. There's the water is not handled properly at all right now. And if we add what they're wanting to add, and then we also know that they wanted that square, they want to do commercial. There's no place for that water to go. That's all going to be concrete, and it may start flooding up into my yard because of this addition. And we have had the property next to the red for almost 30 years. We've been there a long time, and we've dealt with water issues constantly. Second one is traffic. If you've been out on Waterloo, you know the fight between the counties to maintain that road. There is so much traffic. We have watched cars be flipped because they're not maintaining. We had a boy that was almost killed. His Jeep flipped about 1 in the morning and caught on fire. We've called Logan County to fix it. We saw a cement truck flip. We watched 2 cars, because they don't maintain the side of the road. They hit the side of the road because it's gone down. This has been going on for years. They overcorrect. They hit a car coming on over here head on, right in our front yard. So we have so many issues on that road that I don't think anything should be built safely till they're done. Last issue, that land is also for sale, which is, why is it for sale if they're planning on developing it? Or are they just trying to get this so they get more money, recoup for what they paid for their land? Because believe me, if I can get per acre what they got paid, I'd be gone to like Hawaii, because they've overpaid and they're just trying to get something in there. But the way that the whole atmosphere of where we are, and on that corner, it's just not made for, it's not enough to handle the water, the traffic. And I don't have to repeat about the septic, because that's another, when you have soggy land back there, I'd be surprised if they could put septic in. So.
Any questions? Thank you.
They couldn't put septics. They're going to have to put aerobic systems in. And if you all know anything about aerobic systems, so again, we aren't against this development. One thing I am concerned about is how they just knocked out the commercial side and trying to get this passed when it's already been naysayed, what was it, 6 months ago when we were in here. And all they've done is remove that commercial property. Again, those roads aren't going to, we already got enough traffic, but again, I'm not against development. It's not going to add that much. But with that being said, I want you all to keep that in mind. Aerobic systems, 2 acres. You're spreading that across the land, come on. And again, we moved out there for a reason. And if that goes in, I'm going to be smiling all the time. That's really unfair to us.
Would you mind restating your name and address just so the record?
Yeah, I'm Gregory Nelson, and we're at 4900 Waterloo Road. We're that big square, that almost 9 acres or 8.8. We're right next to Herb and Camp Tamra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Anybody else? State your name and address again, please.
Kathy McKenzie, 4700 West Waterloo. I had one more thing. We just recently had no water in our house. And so I thought the pumping god bad. We called the guy out. He goes, no, your well has dropped 40 feet. And so we had to get all new pipe put in and our well put down lower. And that's a serious problem that everybody around there is having. And that's my biggest concern. We already have a spot up that they've approved to take so many acres of water out a year out of our wells. And we're going to affect, I think Bridlegate had they all had the same problem. I think somebody's well was down 100 feet. So that's a real concern when we get that many people attaching to wells and the future stores that will be there.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yep. State your name and address, please.
My name is Tamara Gilkey, and my address is 4750 West Waterloo Road. I just want to, I agree with everything that's been said against this. We did recently feel like we had a problem with our sewer system, which is lateral lines, because that house it's been there for many years, many years. And so we had someone come out and check it. Fortunately, we did not need to redo our septic, but at the time when they came out, they said that we would, if we did anything different, it would have to be aerobic, that the land will not perk well enough for another lateral system. And so that definitely, like Mr. Nelson has said, would be something that could be a huge problem. And in addition to what Kathy has said, we are actually struggling some with our water well. And after talking to her, we may have to have it dug deeper because of low water pressure and times when we do not have water. So whether Deer Creek provided the water, they're still going to do it with water wells. It doesn't matter whether it's an individual water well or a Deer Creek water well, it's going to be more water wells using the water that is already struggling. That's all. Thank you very much.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Hearing none, I will take a motion to approve or deny item number 8.
I move to deny.
Roll call. Eric?
Ms. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Mr. Blau.
So item number 8 has been denied. Thank you. Okay, item number 9, discussion and possible action to receive the October 2022 fee fund and expense report. Anything to add to that, Eric?
No, sir.
We doing good?
We're holding steady.
Would we be making Tyler proud?
Previous months, yes, maybe, but this month I wouldn't go that far.
Sure. Can I get a motion to approve or to accept the fee fund report?
I so move.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Mr. Blau.
Yes.
Okay, item number 10, new business. In accordance to the Open Meetings Act, Section 311-.9, new business is defined as any matter not known about or which could have not been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting of this agenda. Any new business, Eric?
No, sir.
Hearing none, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Roll call?
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss.
Yes.
Mr. Blau. We're adjourned.
Oh, I like it. My feet were cold. I wonder if that guy ran off. He mentioned person I know. He said, Susan Peacock was right across the street. I'm like, I know Susan.
Was she one of your riders?
Well, no, she happened to be somewhere else. And I knew her as a kid, and then I ran into her. Well, I was there.